Alright guys, for this video I'm going to be showing you how to grow a magnolia tree, which is a beautiful decorative tree from seed. And the time you're going to want to be collecting the seeds is going to be the fall time, guys, and then we'll be dropping these pod-shaped looking seed clumps actually, and they'll be they'll have the little seeds. The red part is the seed, and what happens is these little pods actually open up and the seeds get popped out, or then these just rain down all over the ground, and those hard empty clumps is what you're going to find left, and that's the shell of the actual seed pod. But guys, identifying a magnolia tree is not very hard. They got the distinct big dark green leaves that they actually do not shed in the wintertime, and it's a beautiful tree overall. But guess guys, the first step is going to be to collect a seed clump from a magnolia tree. Okay guys, now that you've collected your magnolia seed pods, all you're going to want to do is just simply take out all these little red seeds. I mean, once the pod does dry out a good bit, these little seeds just come, poking themselves out, and they're just literally attached by a thin little white string. But I mean, this is all you're going to want to do. You collect as many as you want, as many as you want for as many of the trees you want to grow. But simply after you do this, guys, the next step is going to be to just take your magnolia seeds, and what I found is just putting them in a cup of water actually works best. These are like a little berry, like a little red berry, and once they sit in water for a day or two, they really soften up, and then you can actually just kind of squeeze them and the seed will come popping out. And I find that to be the most efficient and the simplest way to do this. I mean, you could just try and pop these as they are. It's just once they're kind of dry and they've been outside for a while, it is really hard. So but after you do this, guys, all you're gonna do is just give this a quick little stir and let that sit for say a day or two, whenever you kind of see them start to swell up a little bit. And then after you do that, guys, we're going to move on to the next step, and that's just going to be to take out the seeds and then put them through stratification. So I'm going to let this sit for 2 days, guys, and then I'm going to come back and show you guys the next step. Been a couple days with our magnolia tree seeds. All we're going to do is simply pop a couple out onto a paper towel, and all we're going to do right now is work on popping out that little skin that the magnolia tree seeds are actually in, which is just that red outer layer. And it should be coming off real easily, guys. They are a little slippery, but this is the actual magnolia tree seed. And since they've been soaking for a couple days, yeah, it's real easy. I mean, all you gotta do is barely give them a little squeeze, and they should just come popping right out. And some of the skins actually just deteriorate in your fingers. Like, they're so soft. And I found this to really be the most efficient and effective way to do this and take out the outer layer of skin on the magnolia tree seeds. But what we're going to do, guys, is simply just do this for, as many tree seeds as you're looking to have and as many magnolia trees as you want. And we're going to take these, and then we're going to rinse them off real quick, and then we're going to put these in their own little bag and put them through stratification. I like to do stratification with the magnolias through just putting them in the fridge, simply because I don't like to grow that many of them, and their seeds aren't that big, versus a black walnut, which is really big, and that's something you maybe want to consider doing, outdoor stratification. But that's going to be the next step, guys, and after I finish doing this, I'll show you guys footage of that next step. Okay guys, now that I have deskinned around 20 of the magnolia tree seeds, I was rinsing them off, and another step in this process is, guys, you want to make sure you do the little water test, and simply by putting the seeds in a cup of water while you're rinsing them off is, easy enough, and it will show you what seeds are going to float to the top and which ones are going to sink. And I only had 3 float to the top, but that's going to mean, these seeds in general are bad. The water test usually does show bad seeds because they float to the top. Most seeds are dense enough and they do end up sinking to the bottom when you do the water test. That's a good indicator that they're healthy. Not always, but 99% of the time it's pretty accurate. But now that we know which seeds are bad, we're going to pick these out, and then we're going to move on to putting these through stratification. Now that we have put the seeds through the water test and rinsed them off, now all we're going to do is put them in a bag that I have dated Magnolia October 22nd, and we're going to be putting these guys through stratification. And stratification, if you don't know, is just simply the process of taking tree seeds and putting them through a cold period, as they have to in order to grow. And the magnolia tree seed species, it does have to go through stratification in order to sprout a seed in the springtime. So all we're going to do, guys, is simply, put the seeds in the bag, give it a nice little mix up real quick. And once we've done this, guys, all we're going to do is pop this in the fridge. And if you don't have room in your fridge, you can put it in a basement, somewhere that's dark, just so it won't mold with the moisture. Or a drawer or something like that. As long as it's going to be cold, and if it's exposed to the, the outside temperature, if not in the fridge. And then we're going to wait until the following springtime. And when springtime rolls around, we're actually going to plant these. And we're going to be monitoring these, as springtime comes around, and make sure none of these seeds end up rooting. If they start rooting, and that can happen, it usually doesn't, but they can start rooting, what we're going to want to do is just take them out and, you know, sow them into some pots or wherever you plan on growing your magnolia tree. So guys, in the meantime, I'm going to pop these in the fridge and let them go through stratification. Then I will update you guys in the following springtime when we plant these into pots. Alright guys, so we have our magnolia seeds here from October, so it's been around like 5 months, because we're in early March, and as you guys can see through the bag, they actually are starting to root, so that's how we know it is time for them to get planted, and it is springtime. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take out a couple of our seeds, being very gentle. I'll lay them on the table, and I'll show you guys. So as you can see, guys, some of these have rooted out quite a bit. You know, there's almost a 1/4 inch long root right there. So what we're going to do is simply take our pot, you know, nice soil that we got. I got humus mixed in with our native soil out here in Tennessee, which is clay. So I'm going to be very careful when I'm planting these in here, guys. So we go ahead and just barely even push it. Just kind of set it in the hole, gently push on the dirt, kind of tap it on. We add a little excess, and that's going to be it. So then, guys, what I'm going to do is just simply plant the amount of magnolia seeds that I want to, you know, have planted. So I'm going to probably go for around, you know, eight saplings. You got to always factor in a loss, even if they are rooting. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do 1 seed per pot. Now, guys, you could use larger pots, you know, such as this one over here, or you could even go with a smaller pot. These are pretty small, and I think these are a good size because most trees actually, you know, they root down pretty quickly. So I like to put my trees, especially, you know, in nice larger pots, even if they're just starting out, because they root really quickly. I've rooted, you know, oaks before in these pots, and they get root bound real quick in the bottom, even before the sprout, you know, the sapling actually comes up a couple inches. It's pretty crazy. But guys, so what I'm going to do is just simply, like I said, go ahead and, you know, select out the ones that are already rooting down, just because these look the best. And it doesn't mean to say that the ones that haven't rooted yet, that aren't, you know, showing progress, aren't good, because we did test all these seedlings. You know, you can still plant them, they'll be fine, but just to ensure the best possible success ratio, I'm going to go with the ones that are already rooting, because we know they're alive and well. So guys, like I said, just go ahead and plant the amount of, you know, seedlings you have, the amount of seeds you want to grow your magnolia trees, being very gentle, very careful. And after you do this, guys, make sure you give them a nice, good, heavy watering, depending on where you're going to leave them outside, because, you know, they're going from a very moist soil inside a controlled bag, a controlled environment, to being outside. So you want to make sure they're moist and reduce root shock as much as possible. So after you do that, guys, it should be a couple weeks, you know, before you get like a nice little stem to poke up. Those roots got to get established first. But in the next clip, I will be showing you the actual magnolia tree saplings. Alright guys, this has been around 2 weeks, and here we have our magnolia seedlings. You know, they have sprouted, they're starting to flower out, not flower, they're starting to leaf out, and they look absolutely beautiful, guys. And this is what you want to be seeing after around 2 weeks. You know, if you did all the steps correctly and followed everything in the video, they should be looking like this. These look absolutely stunning, guys, and they are still really young and really fragile, so please be careful when handling them. But what I'm going to do is let these, you know, root in a little bit longer, maybe a couple more weeks, and then after that I'll transplant them into a little bit larger pot. And still be really careful with them, because they're going to be really fragile. You know, the roots and even the stems are mostly water right now, so you definitely don't want to damage them. But guys, I hope this video was beneficial and helpful for you guys, and I wish you guys the best of luck in your own attempt and when you try it out, and I hope you have similar results. And I'll catch you in the next video.